Hi, I'm Melea Hoffman. I'm here to share another Redhorn cycle story with you today. Today we're going to talk about how Redhorn got his first wife. If you'll notice, I'm wearing red again, and I try to do that every time we record because of the MMIW situation that we have here in the United States and Canada. My name on Instagram is I Wear Red for My Sisters, so I try to do that every time. But this is the story of how Redhorn got his first wife. And back in the Redhorn cycle, Redhorn was going on a war party. They wanted to get 10 scalps in 10 days. And there was a young woman who lived on the edge of the village. She was an orphan, and she lived with her grandma out on the edge of the village where the poor people lived and they weren't thought much of. And her grandmother told her, "You need to court Redhorn. He thinks, he likes you." And she said no, and she said, no, go try. So the other girls always teased Redhorn, and he would not respond to it because it was a sign of holiness not to respond to that. And so she went and she teased him, and he turned around and smiled at her. And her grandma said, "Good, I knew he liked you, now, this, you just carry on." And the other girls at that point, because he responded to her, started teasing her and hooting at her and telling her bad things about herself. And she went home and she just cried and cried. And her grandmother said, don't take it to heart because he's your husband now, And so Redhorn was going out on this war party. And when first night, they camped next to the village, and all the girls went out and took him moccasins, and he turned them all away. He didn't take their moccasins because a man would only take moccasins from his wife. And so the girl in the white beaver skin went out and took him a pair of moccasins, and he accepted them. And so he went out, they all went out and went on the war party, and the different spirits were all there. And Turtle, of course, was always making mischief. So they went out on this war party and they were successful. And while they were out, Turtle sent back word that Redhorn had been killed. And so the girl, of course, was devastated, and she went home and told her grandmother, and her grandmother, as a sign of mourning, cut off all her hair. And she was crying at home, and the war party came back, and Redhorn was the first, and he came in victorious. And so the men went back and they danced. They did the victory dance for 4 days. And while they were doing that, all of the men were teasing him and talking to him and trying to get them to court their sisters and saying, "My sister's a good woman, you should marry her. My sister's a good woman." And he said, no, I want to marry the girl with the white beaver skin. Where is she? "They don't want her. She's at the edge of the camp near the dump pile. You don't want that woman. She's an orphan." And the other guys were like, "If he wants her, there's something good about her. You let him alone," and they told her where she lived. So he went out to her and took a light and went into her camp. And her grandma saw him going next to her, and he said, "There's no way this girl's going to keep him warm all winter," and covered the two up with a blanket, and they were married. And that's the story of how Redhorn took his first wife.
That's a good one. Oh, before, I know you had gave some resources to do some research on this. Do you have any other resources, or you want to name something that people can look for?
Well, this one also came from the resource I used before, which is Hotcake Encyclopedia, HOTCAK encyclopedia.com. Now, as we go, I will have other resources and books that you can go to and follow on my other stories, but this one came from the same place. And like I said, it does have lots of other links for other stories, not just Redhorn, and it is a very good resource. It has a funny name, but really, really great stories.
Thank you. Also, I know last viewing that we did, the first Redhorn story, we got a lot of feedback, a lot of questions. So if if you don't mind, can you give them maybe a way to contact you, like an email or something that, if they got questions on this or they're doing research themselves, that they can contact you directly?
Yes, please. Absolutely. I'd love to answer any questions. I'd love to have a discussion. If you've got stories for me, please contact me, because this is what I love. And my email is mhoffman, Hoffman, at omtribe.org. And I am always open to discuss, to learn new stories, to have other resources, to offer resources I have. Please contact me. I am always interested in hearing what you have to say. And if I'm doing something wrong, please tell me that too. Absolutely would love to hear that. I'm always open to criticism, so please contact me.
All right. And you've got other stories that you don't mind sharing with us too in the future?
Absolutely, and it doesn't just have to be Redhorn. I will share everything that I have.
All right. A hoe and my doe.